let's now shift gear to the build-up to the 2023 general elections now, as we're now being joined by the spokesperson for the ruling APC Presidential Campaign Organization, who also actually doubles as the Honorable Minister of State for Labor and Employment, speaking about lawyer and senior advocate of Nigeria, Festus Keyamo. We're glad to have you here on Newsnight, Festus.
Thank you for inviting me.
Well, we'll have to say congratulations. I guess that's a good place to start. You know, having you being a spokesperson of this campaign organization, just how we saw you do that during President Muhammadu Buhari. But at the end of the day, now you are a 7th minister in the cabinet. Yes, we cannot talk about campaigns because that hasn't started until sometime in September. But some people are wondering how you're going to be able to combine your duties as a minister and a spokesperson of a campaign organization. Do you think there'll be any clash in between?
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'll just pause for 1 minute before I answer that question to first of all use the same platform that you have provided to correct the misrepresentation that your Lagos crew did about me this morning. And I felt it was unfair that they did that. And I think they call it the morning show. They went ahead, misquoted me, unfairly criticized me about certain comments I made in another station on Friday. And I felt it was not right and that I should use this same platform. I complained to your editors. In fact, my backroom staff and crew, media school, I should not honor this interview, but I thought, no. You know, I've been a friend of the press for long and I will do that. Now, listen, I am open to criticism as a public officer. I love criticism. I welcome it because I, as a public officer, I know I must be criticized. But for journalists to criticize public officers, the first thing you do, you must have two things at your disposal. You must have your facts correctly. One, it's important you have your facts correctly. And again, you must also quote the person correctly. Well, now, I'll tell you. They told lies against me. First lie. I have you because I'm a lawyer, so I loaded lie.
We have that video.
The first lie, yeah. So the first lie is that they said on that program on Friday in another station, I said the FG will never negotiate with ASO again. I did not say so. Okay. I did not say so. I said, after all I said, was that the chief of staff is now heading on that committee, that they have looked at the demands again, and they have also looked at the Nimi Briggs report again, and they have made a report, back to Mr. President. That's all I said. I never at one time, any time, said we have stopped negotiation. The second one is that the lie number 2 is that I said the Nigerian parents had to cough out 1.1 trillion naira. When did I say so? I never said so. And based on that false premise, they went ahead to say Nigerian officials are insensitive and all of that. If those who did Philosophy 101 in the university, that's what they call some kind of fallacies, where you use false premises to reach false conclusions. The third one is that they said that the only security that we can get in heaven, I said so, is when you die and then you go to heaven. That until you die, you will never get security. That is what I said.
What did you say?
I only said that the only place you cannot have a security breach is in heaven. It's a factual statement. Right. But that does not mean to now stretch it to mean that I now said you have to die first to go to heaven before you get security. It's a factual statement. Okay, so lie number 4. No, I must finish because they had their time. Lie number 4. They said we must accept insecurity as a fait accompli until we get to 100 years old and die and go to heaven. I never said so. I never said we must accept it as a fait accompli. I only said that we have the capacity to tackle it. I never at any point gave up hope and said there was solemn resignation in government and that there's nothing we can do again. I said there is hope, and I cited the example of the farmers' headers crisis, the Northeast crisis that we've solved, and other ones are rearing their ugly heads. That is what I said, so they must quote me correctly. And the final lie they said is that they said ASU did not ask for increases worth 1.1 trillion. One of them said so. And the person I was quoting the Nimi Briggs committee report. And as a journalist, once you are criticizing, you must read from that report. You must say, look, this is the report in front of me. So I thought it was poor journalism, but I don't want to get into any argument. As we start these campaigns, if we start, I want to call for fairness, I want to call for balance, and then we are good to go.
Which is what, you know, at the end of the day, as the fourth estate of the realm,
yes.
we are here to be the gatekeepers. So
yes.
points taken, and thank you so much for that clarification. So let's go back to the question I'd asked you earlier on, in terms of the concerns being raised about you being able to balance your office as a minister in the federal cabinet and also as a campaign spokesperson, how you're going to be able to, you know, put that in check and no conflict in between.
It's pretty easy to do, because first of all, don't forget that I'm a party man. And that this government was formed by the ruling party, the APC. I am a foundation member of the APC. And as such, I also have a duty to my party. From my salaries every end of the month, they take my dues and pay to the party. So I pay my dues to the party, and I have a duty, you know, to serve the party. So I can juggle both very well. Today, look at the evening, I've closed from work, and I'm here, you know, defending my party. So it is like some extra work for me, and I'm proud to do so.
Great, and it's good that you said you're a party man, and you were also the campaign spokesperson for President Muhammadu Buhari in 2019.
Absolutely.
Now you're the spokesperson for Tinubu in 2023.
For the party, APC Presidential Campaign Council,
yes,
and for our presidential candidate. So it's for the campaign council.
Indeed. What will be different from 2019 and now 2023? What would you be saying differently?
Well, because we have more records to run on. So we are going to highlight the record, more of the records. But the most important thing we are going to say now is that we have a different candidate from President Muhammadu Buhari, who has his own characteristics, who has his own personnel and all of that. So we will promote that, you know, that those intrinsic qualities that he has.
Of the candidate? Of
the candidate himself, apart from the policies that we think he's going to improve upon, apart from the general, you know, philosophy behind our party, our progressive party, that he's going to work on. He also has his own personal qualities. And you know, all over the world, apart from the policies of governments, the personality of the person implementing the policy is also very important. And his vision, and what he has done before, the records he has, we are going to promote those records.
That's good to hear, because at the end of the day, some would say that might not be a good way to go, because if you look at some of the indices that we've seen, if you compare to what is going on now, if you look economy, security, and otherwise, if you compare to 2019, it is definitely different, and you must agree with us.
That's by your view.
It's not by my view. The realities are out there for us. If you look at the inflationary figures, food inflation, we see all of that out there. But my question is, the fact that you're talking about your presidential candidate right now will continue on what President Muhammadu Buhari
I did not use that phrase. Did I use that phrase now?
You sort of
that is what the media has been playing and playing and playing back.
Like, we're not having a conversation.
So let me correct you.
We are having a conversation.
No, but you just quoted me wrongly.
So that's why you are here. So that's what I'm saying. So you're not okay. So what you're saying is you're not thinking about continuity in terms of.
I did not say so again. So just ask me what will be done.
So what are you planning to do differently?
Correct.
Correct.
What we are going to do, I made a release. At the weekend. And listen to me carefully and don't misquote me again, headlines tomorrow.
You and I are here.
I will repeat it again. There are areas where we have done exceedingly well. Rail, roads, bridges, legislative reforms, agriculture. We are proud of this record. We have done exceedingly well. Bola Ahmed Tinubu will come in. We look at what we have done, and he will seek to improve on all we have done. Those ones we have achieved tremendous success, and I've just mentioned them now. I'm going to the next one. So that's the first thing he's going to do. The second one is that there are areas where we have made significant progress in security matters. For instance, the farmers' headers crisis that we inherited, the Northeast problem that we inherited, we have been able to stem those two security challenges to a large extent. For example, in Maiduguri, El Kanemi Football Club that was then playing their matches in Bauchi, El Kanemi Football Club is back again to play their matches in Maiduguri. So those people, they are extremely happy with what President Muhammadu Buhari has done and the APC government. Bola Ahmed Tinubu will look at what we have done, those successes we have achieved in security. He will bring his own ideas to consolidate and improve upon them. The areas where new challenges have cropped up, which is banditry and kidnapping, they are work in progress. Just like people thought that the farmers' headers crisis would never end. At a point, people thought that these problems were intractable. But what we did was we were patient. we drew up a plan called the National Livestock Transportation Plan, remember? And we went in hard, and those problems are largely resolved. But we inherited those problems, take note. Now, new ones have reared their ugly heads. A government is a continuum. There's no time one government will solve all the problems and go away. These are new problems that just cropped up, and they are work in progress. If Bola Ahmed Tinubu comes, he will look at where we have reached at that time. He will bring his own additional ideas to add to what we have done in order to stem the tide of banditry and kidnapping. That is the correct statement. So don't miss it. I don't want to see misrepresented headlines tomorrow.
We're having a conversation.
Exactly.
So of course, no one
I am emphasizing it because I know exactly. I've been with the press for 30 years. And they did it to one of my leaders last week.
Minister,
after I left this studio.
Minister, we're having a conversation.
Exactly.
Really.
Yes. You call them work in progress. Yes. You call them new challenges. Dissatisfied Nigerians call them failure. But let's go on a quick break. We're back to talk some more on this. It's time for a short break now. When we come back, we'll have, of course, the minister and who's also the spokesperson for the APC Presidential Campaign Council for Bola Tinubu, still here with us. Welcome back. You're watching News Night here on the Rise News channel. We still have with us the Minister of State for Labour and Productivity, who doubles as the campaign spokesperson for the APC Presidential Campaign Council for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Thank you so much for staying with us.
Employment.
That's Festus Keyamo. Well, Festus Keyamo, we're still having a conversation really in terms of how you're able to balance, you know, your role as a spokesperson of a campaign council and as minister. At the end of the day, let's not forget, the Muslim ticket has actually generated a lot of controversies. And other than that, we still see a lot of infightings within your party. How do you think this might impact on the outcome for your party as we look forward to the next elections?
Well, I think that by the time we finish our advocacy on this issue, they'll be confident enough, those who, you know, exercise some fears. I don't want to repeat in this program arguments I've made somewhere else regarding the Muslim. Let me take it a step further so that I'll keep educating people about this issue. I've mentioned an argument before about the balance of power in another station, but let me also tell you another argument here. The fear really is about, oh, Nigeria will become a Muslim state or an Islamic state if you keep, you know, the number one, number two. Now, for the countries who are the Islamic states across the world, we have about 57 Islamic states, Bangladesh, Turkey, and all of that, you know, it's 57 of them. In their constitution, for you to be an Islamic state, you must put it in the constitution that this country shall be run by Islamic principles. And of course, in those constitutions, you cannot be the president except you are a Muslim. That is in those constitutions. However, in Nigeria, if you look at section 10 of our constitution, they didn't use the word secular, but they said no government, both at the national and state level, or, you know, can declare that state to be, you know, a religious state. So that means, of course, Nigeria is a secular state. Now, for you to then change Nigeria to be an Islamic state, you have to amend the constitution. And in amending the constitution, you have to resort to section 9. Section 9 says that you must get 2/3 concurrence of all the states of the federation, all the houses of the states of the federation for you to turn Nigeria into Islamic state. It's not just going to happen. Hold on. We have 19 Christian governors in Nigeria, 19, and 17 Muslim governors in Nigeria. All the governors that are 19 governors, most of all the House of Assembly are almost all Christian states. So how are you going to get that number? It's not just going to happen. It's impossible.
But do you blame those who
I'm just telling them,
that?
I'm just going to calm people down to say it is impossible, practically impossible for Nigeria to become an Islamic state. It's impossible.
All right,
by those sections I just quoted.
If you do not allow me, you know, butcher some of these things, then we'll not have a conversation.
Yes.
Do you blame those who say your party gives up these vibes? For instance, the president is a Muslim, the national chairman is a Muslim, the president of the Senate is a Muslim, the Speaker of the House of Representatives is a Muslim, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives is a Muslim, your presidential candidate is a Muslim, your vice presidential candidate is a Muslim. So do you blame those who, you know, say the APC is having something to Islamize the country? Do you blame them for that?
Well, I want to draw the attention to the fact that in the past, we have also had the reverse of the situation, so they should be calm. In the past, we have had Christian president, Christian Senate president, Christian member of House of Rep, Christian number one to number. We have had Christians before. But then, the Muslims in that situation, they did not raise alarm. Nigeria was going to be Christianized. So we only let, it's like the interplay of politics within a party that throws up some of these things. It's not a deliberate.
Who do you blame for that?
It's not a deliberate policy.
But who do you blame for this?
Do you understand what I'm saying? No,
Yes,
it's not a blame. It's not a blame because you think it is something wrong. You talk of blame when there's a wrong. It's just interplay of political forces. Like I said, in the past,
it was not an issue in the past. Hold on. It was not an issue in the past.
No, it was in this dispensation too. It
was not an issue at that point.
So
why is it an issue now? Exactly.
Because people, that's why we said, when it is now your turn, be fair to others too. Just like you want others to be fair to you. At that point, when he favored the Christians, there was no outcry from the Muslims because of interplay of forces within the party. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Great. That's a great point.
You talk about fairness, but at the end of the day, we see how polarized our country is when it comes to.
You are the one.
And even being divided. But you know what? We don't have the luxury of time, so we need to talk about other critical issues right now. You asked.
But do you understand my explanation now?
We definitely get your point. It's up for Nigeria.
Yes.
It's up to Nigeria.
So when you are fair to others, others should be fair to you too.
Absolutely. So that's why you're here having this conversation.
Like tomorrow there may be interplay of forces may throw up a Christian ticket. Let me explain this. I need to explain for 1 minute.
Or a traditionalist.
For 1 minute. No, for 1 minute. What happened now was that Muslims are not much in the South, but a person who is a Muslim candidate struggled and got the ticket of a major party from the South, a Muslim from the South, which maybe was not expected. Now, going to the North now that is predominantly Muslim, he had to pick a Muslim as if, he wanted to win elections. Now, tomorrow, let me reverse this case so that you can understand it very well. Let me reverse it. Tomorrow, we have Christian minorities in the North. Now, it may be possible, just like it happened in the South, that a Christian minority in the North may muzzle his way and pick a ticket of a major party. If he now comes to the South and wants to pick a deputy from the Southeast and South, who will he pick?
Right. At the end of the day,
at that point, you get a Christian ticket. Do you understand now?
Yeah.
So if you flip it, you understand it. If you flip it.
Again, it's not for us. It's for Nigeria.
Yeah, but I've just explained to them now.
We totally get where you're coming from. Because our constitution here did say we are a secular state. But let's talk about some other issues right now. Nigerians are wondering when your principal, your candidate, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, would actually be willing to speak to the press, because we've seen other presidential candidates really try to rule that out. So if we get that information, that will be helpful.
He's being careful,
but also,
because elections have not started.
We'll talk about, but also, let's marry that with the fact that we've seen, what is your principal really doing with the governor of Rivers State? Because even today, we did see, the camaraderie between the governor of Lagos State and the Rivers State governor, where we even see some commissioning of some projects. Is that a message to Nigerians that maybe there might be a switch in the days to come?
Jungle the macho.
Next
question.
What does that mean?
So tell you that real politics, the real politics of Nigeria is different from those people who chew chewing gum and behind keyboards. That is jungle maturing there.
And when
not keyboard.
And when is Bola Tinubu going to speak to the press about
when
what
campaigns
he has
begin?
planned?
When campaigns, because campaigns have not started.
Okay, let's talk about some disaffection within the APC. Amaka had brought it up earlier, and how you think this will affect the campaigns. I'm not sure you answered that, so I'd like to go back to that. How are you assuaging those concerns, those voices of dissent within your party?
Well, I don't think there are so many, like the PDP that has fallen apart virtually, First of all, you have all the presidential candidates behind our president. Just take note of that. Okay. Which is actually the first first thing you notice.
All?
The presidential candidates. Which one have you seen campaign? Which one have you seen speaking out against Tinubu? Which one? Tell me.
Where is it candidate or aspirant?
Aspirant, I'm sorry.
Aspirant,
okay. Aspirant, I'm sorry. Yes.
Aspirant,
I'm sorry.
All of them.
Have you seen one speaking up against him?
But former Minister of Education, Ulajuba of State, called for the disqualification of Bola Tinubu.
No, he actually withdrew even when he didn't come to the Eagle Square.
Okay.
Those who came to the Eagle Square all congratulated themselves.
That's fine. What about the former DG of the Buhari campaign and former Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi? His silence has been deafening.
No, what do you want him to say? He's a party man. Well. He has. I've seen quotes from him going to Port Harcourt where he said everybody must vote for the APC.
But at the end of the day, the question I did is asking you, how are you able to assuage the issues raised? Because even Babaji Alawa, I remember he was the one who picked up the form for Bola Ahmed Tinubu from the party. He's actually been quite vocal about the choice of a Muslim ticket. So the conflict resolution mechanism of the APC is what we're trying to find out, and how you're able to calm off frayed nerves ahead of the elections.
Like some of these arguments we're putting forward.
At some point they'll come on board, so they're not on board yet.
Well, because of this,
I don't want to misquote you.
Because of some of this, outspokenness you're talking about, that they're outspoken about some of these issues. But I'm sure the views will change after, like some of these arguments I put forward. We'll keep talking to them about some of these things so that they have really nothing to fear. Before we share positions, there must be victory. We must win an election first. And I've said before that it is only a matter of order of precedence in public that you say, oh, the vice president is number 2. But when the president is functioning, the vice president may not be the second most powerful man. The only people that can check the powers of the president are the National Assembly and the judiciary. The vice president cannot check his powers, the powers of the president. So we will calm them down. We'll keep calming them down to say they have really nothing to fear. And I made this argument before. Let me just use this to chip in. I saw one of the aides of articles. They say, well, the vice president is so powerful under Section 153. He's chairman of Economic Council and as such. They don't even know how government functions. I'm a member of cabinet. If you look at Section 153 of the Consider creates the National Executive Council, Economic Council, and then you now go to the 3rd schedule. Section 19 says that the recommendations of the National Executive Council, Economic Council are again they are brought to the president. Okay. They are just advisories, an advisory body, so they have no powers to take final decision. It's only Yemi Osinbajo, our good Yemi Osinbajo, that has acted as president. So I can confidently say he even has more experience than Atiku Abubakar. Atiku Abubakar was not given powers 1 minute.
We'll find out.
1 minute he was not given. So he cannot. I want to repeat it on this program. He was not given powers 1 minute. He was distrusted by his boss. He was most belligerent. He was the most disloyal vice president we've ever had. And so he has no experience.
We're not here to assassinate.
I'm repeating it. He has no experience.
Festus,
no, I'm fact. It's a matter of fact.
Okay, so at the end of the day, it's not about Atiku Abubakar or the PDP.
No,
at the end of the day, let's find.
So.
You talked about the vice president, Osinbajo. Yes. Can you confirm to us that Osinbajo and Bola Ahmed Tinubu have now finally settled? And also ASU, the way forward in terms of the strike that has been lingering for more than 5 months now?
They're taking the reports on ASU to Mr. President again. I've said it. People said we have stopped negotiating. No, the president looked at, set up another small committee again, and they have taken the report back to him. But I'm saying as we are finding the way out of it, I will repeat it again. We never talk down on ASU, take notes. We never abuse them, take note. We are only appealing. So I don't know why all these headlines I'm seeing, oh, it is insensitive. We say back ASU. A minister is saying appeal to them that whilst these negotiations are going on, please go back to classes. We have not clamped down on them. The president has respected human rights to the end. Let me tell you a secret today. I'll put it on this program, everybody know. For the past 3 years, another association of university teachers, they have met all the requirements for registration. They are there, Ministry of Labour, CONWA, Conference of Nigerian University Teachers. We have not registered them. We just respect ASU. We don't want to be seen as the one breaking ASU. But the solution is there. Because the other university lecturers are not with them. CONWA. They refused. They said if we register them today, they're going back to classes.
But Connor was also on this program.
They are there.
And Minister,
they are speaking with us.
They did say there are issues in the university sector.
Yeah, but they are prepared to go back.
They are prepared to go back. They're also giving their own
refuse to register them. Take notes.
Right. Okay. So the first question I'd asked you about Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the vice president, have they finally settled? Can you confirm that to us?
There was no quarrel.
You think?
You took settlement because there must be a quarrel. There was no quarrel. So you saw them embracing after the primaries. And then you saw Bola Tinubu in his house the next day. Did you see any? Did you hear of any quarrel? We are not a PDP. It's a united, strong house. And why you said the jungle will mature.
Time will tell. Time will tell. But Honorable Minister,
yes,
a Keyamo versus a Dino Melaye in the PDP. No, are we likely to see issue-based campaign without personality clashes?
You don't want me to comment on that now. You see, listen. This is not comedy. This is not comedy. This is not theatrics. Look, let me just say this comment. Let me make this. Give me 30 seconds.
Okay.
As a senior advocate and active practitioner, I represented some of the best musicians in Nigeria and the best comedians in Nigeria. Wizkid, Burna Boy, P Square, Chidinma. I'm calling names. Some of the best. And I've been their lawyer. I nurtured them. I'm proud of who they have become. Mr. Macaroni, I saw him through school. He was to be expelled. He was my friend. These are wonderful boys who are doing well in their career. I promised Dino, when I leave office, I will nurture his career as a comedian and a musician. Because he didn't come to me, that's why. That's the problem. If he comes to me, I will nurture him like I nurtured others. But I promise, that is when they declare Bola Tinubu winner, Asiwaju winner. I want to go back to my practice. I just want to land there, declare Asiwaju, then I want to go back. I miss the courts. I want to go back there. And once I go back, I promise Dino, I will nurture his music and comedy career.
Well,
he will do well there.
Before you go
he will
back,
do well.
Before you go back
I've nurtured others before.
Before you go back to the courtroom, well, we're not trying to actually place you, against him. But at the end of the day, Dino Melaye has actually called you out personally. He says you are jobless as a minister of state, and that's the reason why your party decided to actually give you a job as a campaign spokesperson. I'm
not on the ballot, so my concentration is candidates, Atiku, and the issues. Dino can provide the side comedy, but I will help him when I leave office.
It's interesting.
I will help him. I will help him to promote that career, because this terrain is a bit too much for him. And
before we just let you go, earlier you spoke about how important the personality on the ballot is. Yes. And I want to ask you, how easy or difficult will it be for you to sell a candidate such as Bola Ahmed Tinubu? There's been a lot of controversy around his age, around, the old coming back to power, time to give way for the new, his source of wealth and all of that. How easy a job is it for you?
First governor in Nigeria to promote the single treasury accounts. The federal government learns from Lagos. It's not the other way around. First governor to start to hold the economic summit to bring in brains on how to develop Lagos. First governor to take development to the grassroots by forming 37 extra development councils. And that is why Lagos is what it is today. The governor that has risked his life for the enthronement of democracy when Atiku sold out his principles and his party in SDP. The only governor the only person who stood out and spoke and fought for democracy that we are enjoying today. The only person that has raised champions upon champions. Look at them today in all fields. Let the other candidates come out and show us their champions. The only person that has developed Lagos from the dirtiest uncoordinated city to the mega city and the smart city that he is today. The only governor that digitalized Lagos, the first person to digitalize the tax system in Lagos State. He was the first governor. And that is why the tax revenue went up astronomically in Lagos, because of digitalization. So he introduced the digital economy to Lagos. The federal government learned from Lagos. Lagos did not learn from the federal government. The first governor ever to run a state for more than nearly 2 years without federal allocation. Awesome. The third largest economy in Africa. This is the easiest person to sell. Like I said, no person comes close to him at all. None. Atiku Abubakar has never ruled anywhere. Okay. Never.
It's not about Atiku.
It is the two now. These are the two candidates.
We're having a conversation.
Are you afraid of me talking about Atiku?
When we have the Atiku.
So I have just started selling him one by one.
I can hear you on that.
You can hear me loud and clear.
Can hear you loud and clear. But at the end of the day, Nigerians are more concerned about you selling your principle.
But you have heard me loud and clear now.
Loud and clear. I'm sure Nigerians everywhere in the world
I just got 2 million more votes.
Well, at the end of the day,
2 million more votes.
Right now. But at the end of the day, the controversies are ongoing. It's unending when it comes to his age. Can I land on this concerning his age and his wealth and the source of it? At the end of the day, it's something you cannot wish away.
Can I go on with that?
Please go ahead.
Okay, now, are you his father or mother?
I definitely am not.
So what's the controversy about his age?
I am a journalist and I'm speaking on behalf of the people, and I'm trying to find out
what is the controversy about his age
and even his health. We've seen
hold on, you are running away now, one by one now.
They say he has different...
you must say that, okay. I have a father, I have a mother. What is the controversy?
At different times, there have been different ages
from
the candidate. They talk about his children who are old enough.
No, which one?
For instance, the Yaloja of Lagos.
She's 40-something.
Wikipedia.
40-something.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
When you say...
No, Wikipedia has been edited over and over, and it was shut down by Wikipedia. So it was mischievous for doing that.
How old is he?
So you can see now that he's 70.
70?
Yes.
Your candidate is 70. Okay,
yes.
great.
So hold on. We are going to the next one now. We have settled that there's nowhere there was a 2 certificate, 2 affidavit, 2 anything. I'll put that to rest today. Let's go to the next one.
But even at the screening of the presidential candidate, I do remember a party member, a member of the APC, did bring a petition before the screening committee about his credentials.
No, forget that. We're talking of age. Have you settled age?
You have said he's 70 years. Fine. So his credentials.
What's the credential?
Do you think that's a controversy or not?
The Chicago State University have written that he went there and he graduated with what was equivalent to a first class.
Okay.
What's the controversy there?
Okay. Why you say?
Let me also tell you something that the younger ones don't know. Let me tell you something that somebody don't know. They said, what is the primary school upon which somebody can attend before he goes to secondary school? For the younger ones, we want to let them know that that is a virtue, not a vice. In those days, great men today, they wrote GC from home. Not everybody in those days went to the four walls of the schools or secondary schools. I'll mention names. One of the greatest lawyers this country has ever produced that has the best university today, Afe Babalola, he did not get formal education in the four walls of his school. Afe Babalola. Right. Great men all over the world. So it is a virtue, not a vice. I want to tell you that. So that's done and dusted. Next one.
The controversies are unending because
I'm resolving them one by one. I'm resolving them one by one. You are the one playing it up. I'm giving you answers.
Festus, we're having a conversation.
No, but I'm telling you that you are the one playing it up.
Really.
Because people, let me tell you there, people just take stories out of social media and regurgitate them on networks like this. Regurgitating on social media.
We're not talking about social media reports.
No, most of this is social media.
In 1999, when he was running, the certificates that he dropped and right now, and the forms that he did submit right now to run for president, the certificates, there's discrepancy there that have been noticed.
Chicago State University.
That wasn't submitted in 1999.
Okay. Which one did he submit?
Where's the primary?
I just explained that to you now.
You're confirming to us that he didn't go to a primary school. Is that what you're saying?
He did not reveal it, but I'm just telling you that he did not reveal it. But I'm telling you that in those days, you don't have to go. You don't have to. They read and pass GC from home. Great men do.
And secondary school?
Great men. Yeah, the secondary school. That's GC now.
Yeah.
Yes, they pass it from home.
Okay. Or they pass it from home?
Yes, great men do. Okay. And it's a part of it in fact it is one of the virtues that you used to know great men, so that they read
that they don't go to school,
that they read from home. They read and dug in and burnt the midnight oil from home.
Okay, we are almost running out of time, Honorable Minister. So you can confirm that Bola Tinubu does have certificates for his primary, secondary, university. Is that what you're saying? Yes, no?
He has. Yes.
When you say this election is about Bola Tinubu and Atiku, are you discarding the other political parties? Are you discarding the other candidates such as Peter Obi of the Labour Party, Kwankwanso of the NNPP, and the others?
They brought color into the campaign. So I must admit to them, and I praise what they are doing. They have raised some consciousness among the electorates and all that. But like I said in another program, outside the Southeast, Peter Obi is a carpetbagger outside the Southeast. And we also suspect he may just be a Trojan horse for Atiku Abubakar. And so we want to warn his supporters that he may be leading them to nowhere.
Right, and of course there are fears that have been raised right now in terms of the fact that we might see a runoff elections for the first time here in Nigeria.
We will not see a runoff.
Really, how can you guarantee
that? Our demography. I want you to call me a week, put in your diary a week to elections. I don't want to reveal the demography now. We have done our demography. We are not resting our hours. We are not going to sleep. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is far ahead of the other candidates.
So you think Peter Obi and the Kwankwasos, the third force, you don't think they would actually scratch even the two
They will do well, and I praise them for raising the consciousness of.
But they have nothing to worry about, you think?
Well, for some areas, yes, for some areas, there are candidates, and I don't want to run them down on air, but like I said, we have done our demography, and it is between Asiwaju and a distant second Atiku Abubakar.
Well, as you can see, Peter Obi is garnering thousands in their numbers of new supporters and the young demography. So we wonder the demography you're talking about, you don't want to reveal.
The young ones are also from other parts of the country. They only live from the South and the Southeast. The young ones are also in the rural areas. Those ones. So when you assume that 10 million young people just registered, we are sharing it between APC, PDP, and other parties. It's not for one person.
It's not just about the South, Festus.
You are making comments now. You are betraying yourself. You are betraying yourself.
Festus Keyamo.
You are betraying yourself.
Would have to say thank you so much for joining us.
We'll call you a week to the election.
We will.
Yes,
we definitely will.
And hopefully we'll get your candidate on this network.
As soon as
when he
possible.
speaks.
Well, thank you, Festus Keyamo, for joining us tonight on the program.